Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Later in the show, Kimberly, Salas, and Amanda Singer will tell us about the Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition.
I'm Susan Levy, and in the studio with us today is Dr. Jennifer Veaco, Native Health's family practice physician and an internationally board-certified lactation consultant, and Rhiannon Worker, Native Health's WIC supervisor. Hello, Dr. Veaco and Rhiannon, and welcome to Native Talk Arizona.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Well, we're super excited to have you in the studio. And I know that August is Breastfeeding Month, and there's also Breastfeeding Week and National Breastfeeding Month. So, Dr. Veaco, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me here. So I'm a family medicine doctor here at Native Health. I'm mainly here at Central Clinic, and then I also work out of the West Clinic. And then I'm also a board-certified lactation consultant.
That's awesome. Okay, and Rhiannon, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. My name's Rhiannon Worker. I'm a registered dietitian and also the new WIC supervisor here at Native Health. I'm originally from Tuba City, Arizona, located on the Navajo reservation. I'm Sajikida and born for Kia'ani. I completed my bachelor from ASU and then also completed my internship through Be Well Solutions. I currently manage the WIC program to make sure it's in compliance, the clinic flow, and then also we'll be completing high-risk clients that need to be referred to a dietitian. I have worked at WIC before at another local agency here in Arizona, which has allowed me to gain a little bit more experience with how WIC works.
And I know our WIC program is run through Intertribal Council of Arizona. So, fun fact about that. And we have multiple WIC locations as well. So, as I mentioned, August is Breastfeeding Month. Dr. Veaco, I know that you're a certified lactation consultant. What is that, and what do you do?
So it basically means that I have extra education and clinical experience in breastfeeding medicine. So if a mom wants to have an appointment with me and discuss concerns with low milk supply, we can certainly talk more medically about that, maybe run some lab work and whatnot. Also, if mom is concerned about infant not latching well, I can do an oral exam and look for a tongue tie. So those are just some examples on what I can do as a medical provider interested in breastfeeding medicine.
So if somebody's pregnant, should they start thinking medically? Should they start thinking about like when they're pregnant if they want to breastfeed, and if they're coming in for like their prenatal visits here and seeing like in the clinic, should they talk to you then, or should they wait till the baby's born, or how does that work in the clinic?
So a lot of times women will think about how labor is going to go and pre-plan about, they're going to have their birth plan, right?
Yep.
And I think a lot of times people don't think about, well, nursing is going to happen right after delivery, and hopefully it's going to happen for 2 years at least afterward. And so there should be some pre-planning in regards to that. We can certainly offer some basic education about breastfeeding. There's also some wonderful videos to check out online to just kind of get people's to kind of see what is a normal latch, what should we do right after delivery, especially first-time moms. It can be very helpful to look at those resources.
I know it's overwhelming. So I know that you said you received additional or supplemental training to become a lactation consultant. Is that a long program? Is it hard? Do you have to study? Are there tests, or is it just pretty easy and you get a certificate?
Well, so there's 3 different pathways depending on where someone is kind of starting out to become a certified lactation consultant. So I did the pathway for health professionals where they've already had some background education. For me, I'd already gone to medical school and I was in residency when I was working on becoming a lactation consultant. So with the health professional pathway, I needed to have 95 hours of education in breastfeeding medicine and then 1,000 hours of clinical practice in breastfeeding medicine.
That's a lot.
It can be a lot, but luckily I was able to work a lot with my family medicine residency program and work in the nursery down at U of A, University of Arizona, and so I got a lot of my clinical practice in the nursery seeing newborns, which was really fun.
So why did you get interested in breastfeeding, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, well, so I actually had my first child in residency. And it was in January of 2020, so that was like a crazy time in and of itself.
Yep.
And I was deployed to work in the COVID unit in March, right after my maternity leave. And I realized, wow, I don't really know a lot about breastfeeding, even though I had went to medical school and I was halfway through my family medicine residency program. So I had to do a lot of learning myself about what should I do for pumping to keep up my milk supply when I was working in the hospital and then coming home to my infant. And just with learning how to do that and the sacrifices that it took, I kind of developed a love of breastfeeding, and it was a great way to wind down and bond with my baby girl right after a really rough shift. So by kind of that experience, I was interested in learning more education in breastfeeding and then helping moms in the future.
Man, that must have been incredibly tough. I can't imagine giving birth, coming back from maternity leave, COVID hitting, doing that, trying to breastfeed.
Yeah.
And just at the beginning of COVID, as you know, no one knew anything.
No one knew anything. Yes.
Transmission and hospitalizations, and there were no vaccines at that point. And I can't even imagine how you did that.
It was a crazy time. I was worried that I was going to bring home COVID to my family and my newborn. We didn't know how it was going to affect kids at that time. So I'd come home, I'd be in my driveway, I'd take off, my scrubs and my shoes and leave everything outside and come in and immediately take a shower. Yeah. And then I would be able to hold my little girl, Valerie, and just kind of connect and wind down and breastfeed. And I realized breastfeeding is so much more than just nutrition, and I wanted to really help moms in the future if they had any difficulties with breastfeeding. So that's kind of why I did more education, and then I did more clinical hours on the back front of my family medicine residency.
Wow, pretty amazing. Hats off to you. I can't even imagine how difficult that time was.
Yeah,
so
she was my ground, though. Yeah.
But okay, great. Anyway, I don't even know what to say. But all right, so I know
amazing.
Yeah, pretty tough. So I guess for both of you, Rhiannon, I'll start with you. So why is it important to breastfeed from a WIC perspective or an RD perspective?
Yeah, there's just so much research that backs it up all the way from the beginning of time. It's our natural way of feeding our kids. And not only that, it's recommended from the American Academy of Pediatrics to exclusively breastfeed for at least the first 6 months. But not only that, it provides the ideal nutrient balance from the RD perspective. So you're getting the vitamins, the minerals, the carbs, fats, and proteins that's specifically made for your child. And I think that's what's so special about breastfeeding versus formula. And you'll also be able to get the antibodies from it as well. So it provides that extra protection for their immune system, which I think is super important. And I think that kind of ties back to, Dr. Veaco's little situation when she was breastfeeding during COVID. So just a little additional information there. And then also with nutrition, the bioavailability of the milk is going to be a lot better. So it's going to absorb just a lot better for them in regards to their digestion. So there's so much more benefits, but that's just a couple that I like to kind of mention to the WIC moms. And
Dr. Veaco, anything that you want to add medically, why, or not just medically, just anything, why it's important to breastfeed?
Yeah, so in regards to, you mentioned digestion, of course, breastfeeding infants have less stomach bugs and less ear infections. Also, breastfed babies have a lower risk of asthma and obesity and type 1 diabetes, and also a risk of SIDS. They have a less risk of SIDS. So it is protective in a lot of ways, not only nutritionally, but overall. We can also talk about the convenience of it, right? You don't have to worry about bringing bottles or formula or water or that kind of thing. If you're out and about, you can just grab your baby and go.
And the cost.
Mm-hmm. And the cost. The cost can
and
be
environmental.
Unless you spend a lot on pumping supplies. That's a whole nother. You can really go down the rabbit hole for that one. But talking about the mother's health too, mothers are benefited by breastfeeding as well. The longer you breastfeed, you reduce your risk of breast cancer and ovarian cancer. Also, it helps with blood pressure and reducing your risk of diabetes.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you had mentioned before that it's generally recommended to breastfeed at least, did you say 2 years?
Yeah, so the WHO and then the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends 2 years.
Okay. But if you're not able to, let's say you're just not able to do that, is there a benefit to just doing it for as long as you can?
Absolutely.
So if it's like a month or 6 months or a year?
Yeah. Any amount is beneficial. I think some women worry if they don't have a full milk supply and they're supplementing with formula, it's squashing the benefit of breast milk, but that's not the case. Any benefit of breast milk can be helpful for mom's health, reducing her risk of breast cancer, but then also helpful for baby, for the immunity, and just simple bonding as well.
Okay. Some great benefits for breastfeeding for sure. And so for Rhiannon, do you know, is it hard to breastfeed, or do you all offer support for that?
Yeah, I think breastfeeding can be hard. That's something that is going to depend on the mom and her experience. I think one of the most common things I see with breastfeeding for the WIC participants is the latching. I think that's one of the most crucial things is to understand, because once you have the latching down, you're not going to have the pain, you're probably not going to have engorgement, and you're also going to help have that supply and demand as well. And that's going to kind of take away the other problem we commonly see in WIC, which is I don't make enough milk. So, here at WIC, we do offer those services. So we have myself, and then we also have WIC educators as well who are trained to offer that breastfeeding advice and support, answer any questions. And we also have a Pacify app as well, which is going to be good until August 31st. So if you are planning to breastfeed, you're more than welcome to talk to one of us at your next appointment and ask for that referral, and you'll have that good till the next year. And then we also offer the 24/7 hotline as well. You can find that information on the AZDHS website or also on Native Health, I believe. But those are just some of the resources that we have with the WIC program.
Cool. Okay. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Veaco, I know you've breastfed, so is it hard to breastfeed?
It can be, right? So I think the way I describe breastfeeding is it's a relationship between two people that don't know each other very well right off the bat, right? And they're wanting to have this intimate time and try to breastfeed and have good nutrition from it as well. So even veteran moms can have their, fourth, fifth child, and it can be a new experience because it's a new baby, and the baby might have different tendencies than the other babies that she, has worked with before. So it can be difficult. As you mentioned, the latch can be a key thing. It's important to have a good, healthy latch so that the milk is removed and so baby is satisfied, and then that helps with the milk supply to continue to come in. I certainly recommend people work with a lactation consultant right after delivery, ideally in the hospital or here in the clinic. Also looking at videos ahead of time when they're pregnant about what is a good latch, what does it mean for not having any pain and for baby to have that milk. Some websites to check out that have wonderful videos would be firstdroplets.com. Again, firstdroplets.com, so like first droplets of milk. It has wonderful videos of latching. And then also the Lactation League. It's LLLI.org, so 3 L's and an I.org. They also have really good videos to check out.
I remember it was tough. Mm-hmm. And each of the kids were different, and the different holds and the latching techniques and the football hold, and then I also had a very extremely premature child, which is another whole
nother ball game. Yes.
Yeah, a micro preemie, and that was pretty tough. So
yeah, breastfeeding can be done for all ages, but preemies can be more difficult. They're smaller, they don't have a lot of strength and reserve, and so I certainly recommend if someone is experiencing that to talk to the lactation consultant in the hospital, because oftentimes there is lactation consultants in the hospital that can really help with trying to do latching if that's safe for you and baby, or they can give you great information about helping milk supply come in and doing that pumping right off the bat.
Yep, pumping.
Yes.
Pumped for a long time. I had a child in the NICU for a very long time.
Wow,
So,
good job, Mama.
Yep, definitely important, and you want to make sure, especially with all babies, I know it's better for their brains and to keep them healthy. So I think you both have touched on, are there things that you can do so Rhiannon, if somebody's having problems and they're asking you, then you're able just to refer them out or refer them to Dr. Veaco, but you're able to assist with things as well, correct, in WIC?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And Dr. Veaco, if people are coming in, you're able to assist them and help them with the latch or answer any questions. Any truth to the I used to hear tea bags. So if you were in a lot of pain and your nipples were cracked, any truth to that, like the tannic acid in cold tea bags? Have you heard that?
I actually haven't heard that.
Oh.
I know that there's wonderful balms that you can buy.
Yeah.
So there's like organic nipple butter that you can get, or there's other creams like, what is it, the Lancilla cream. You can also use some warm compresses or cold compresses, whichever feels better for you. So there's a couple of things that we can certainly talk about. I've seen some things where if there is some damage to the nipples and they'll need either like an antibiotic or an antifungal cream, we can certainly prescribe that. So if you're ever concerned about a wound that's not healing, please make an appointment. If you're concerned about incorrect latch or pain or poor milk supply, please make an appointment ASAP, because breast milk is a supply-demand relationship. If you're not emptying the breasts, then your body is going to get the message that you don't need to make the milk, and so your milk supply is going to go down. So, don't wait a couple weeks. If you're having an issue, please just make an appointment right away, and just let our front office know that it is for a breastfeeding concern, because then we try to get you in that week especially.
Okay. So supply and demand is the most important one on that one.
Yes.
Make sure you get in right away. Okay. All
Don't
right.
suffer in silence.
Yeah, and it shouldn't hurt. Yeah.
Oh, it does sometimes at the beginning. I do know
Yeah.
that. All right. Rhiannon and Dr. Veaco, I've got another question for you I forgot to ask. Rhiannon, what tips do you have for like the partner? So how would they support somebody who's breastfeeding? Any ideas or tips?
Yeah, I think the dads or the partner plays a crucial role in breastfeeding, especially being that emotional support for the mom, because it can be physically and, emotionally demanding for mothers. Providing that encouragement, reassurance, and positive reinforcement, and just simply listening can make a biggest difference as well. They can also assist with burping the baby. If mom chooses to breast pump, she can always have that on the side, and dad can also assist that way as well. And just overall creating that supportive environment for baby and mom.
Good tips. And Dr. Veaco, any suggestions from you?
Yeah, I think partners and other family members or friends who are close by should be breastfeeding allies to the mom, especially in those first couple weeks. So that means doing those extra tasks, whether it be cleaning, laundry, providing food to the breastfeeding mother, providing lots of water, always filling up her water bottle, and taking care of baby in other ways, whether it be diaper changes, helping with sleep, helping with burping, and being a listening ear to when things are hard, because, things don't go perfectly as planned. I'm sure we all know that with our experience in life. So trying to be there for mom and baby for those unexpected times and tears.
So I know that you both mentioned that you should think about breastfeeding before you give birth. So Rhiannon, what do you all do in WIC to prepare people for breastfeeding when they're coming in for their WIC appointments?
Yeah, so usually that is like one of the main questions we ask when they're first being certified with the WIC program, especially if they're pregnant. We ask, what are your plans when baby gets here? So we definitely do a little assessment, and we kind of offer that education on how to breastfeed and what to look out for once baby arrives. And then I'm also going to be starting up classes as well on Zoom for those moms who do want to have a little bit more of a discussion about it with other moms who are also like-minded as well.
And then, so in terms of breastfeeding and WIC, people can start WIC when they're newly pregnant, correct?
Yes.
And then when do you start talking about breastfeeding, like at the very beginning or when they're like 20 weeks pregnant?
Yeah, we usually wait till, like that 20-week mark, just because sometimes they don't really think about it their first trimester. And even if we do talk about it, it can be easily forgotten. So I'd rather wait a little bit later on in their pregnancy to discuss it and have them just because it makes it more realistic for them to be more prepared.
I think the point that you brought up, Dr. Veaco, earlier was, people are talking about their birth plan, and I think you're always thinking about the pain and having a baby, but you're not really thinking about like, oh, once that baby's delivered and you're going to breastfeed, like, oh, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So, closer to the delivery date, check out those videos about appropriate latch, or ask questions to your provider, or to, the WIC representative that you're working with. Get those questions answered, ideally before the baby comes. Make a breastfeeding plan, too.
That's a good idea. Dr. Veaco, if somebody wants to think about breastfeeding and maybe working on the woman's diet before she delivers, or close to delivery, or afterwards, does that affect the milk? So I know sometimes you'll hear like garlic or different things, alcohol, things you should or shouldn't do, or things that the baby might not like. Any suggestions or tips for that?
So, that can be a bag of worms. I think that it's important to make sure that someone is having a healthy diet with appropriate calories. That's first. When I'm seeing women and they're talking about, or they're worried about a low milk supply, and they're on this drastic diet to lose the baby weight. Well, if their body is not getting the appropriate calories to maintain a healthy weight, then their body is not getting the appropriate calories to make milk. So please make sure you're eating enough calories to fuel your body so that you can make the milk. There is a myth about, healthy diet versus unhealthy diet. Is that going to affect the actual nutrition density of the milk? That is highly unlikely, because your body has a protective resource and mechanism where if it is making milk, it is making appropriate milk for your baby. So I wouldn't stress about, having, quote, unhealthy food or that kind of thing to make, worried that it's going to make, quote, unhealthy milk. That's not really a thing.
So, but because, like in Arizona, it's so hot. So if you're going to deliver and you're going to have a baby soon in this heat, should you be drinking extra milk or juice or water or liquids? I mean,
Staying well hydrated is very important. For pregnancy, to maintain a healthy pregnancy, you're supposed to have at least 2 liters of water a day. And I would say the same thing for women after they deliver. They should try to shoot for the 2 liters of water a day. And then after that, drink to thirst, meaning that if they're still thirsty, that means that their body is needing more water to do the things it does, whether it be healing from the delivery or making that milk. So yes, hydration is very important.
And you keep saying water, so water means water. Water
Yes.
doesn't really mean like Gatorade and Coke, right?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. You can certainly have a sports drink if you're, in hot weather and whatnot. But I would avoid caffeine. Not strictly, but caffeine can be a diuretic and can make you urinate more, and then you're like needing to drink even more water on top of that. So overall, the liquid of choice is water.
Okay. And then what about any truth to the wives' tales about like things that you're eating would affect the baby, garlic or onions or spicy food?
Generally no.
Okay.
There are some foods, so some healthy carb foods can increase milk supply. So a healthy bowl of oatmeal can be helpful for milk supply, but it all comes back to making sure you're getting in enough nutrition and carbs and protein to make the milk in general.
Okay. Good tip. Rhiannon, do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch back on for the calories. It usually when you're exclusively breastfeeding, you can burn up to 300 to 500 extra calories on top of your regular BMR, RMR. So just want to reiterate that. Just make sure you're eating as much as you can for your body.
So Rhiannon, what kind of WIC packages do you all have for pregnant and breastfeeding moms?
Okay. Yeah, so all of our WIC packages are going to be pretty much the same. So you're going to have your fruit and vegetables on there. You're going to have your milk, cheese, and yogurt, your whole grains, cereal as well, which is all iron fortified. And I generally recommend this to the moms because that's the whole reason why WIC was made, to help prevent any type of nutritional deficiencies for any woman who's pregnant or postpartum. So those are just some of the things that I like to also touch on with the moms, is just kind of follow that general healthy diet, or even going to myplate.gov and, making sure you have half of your plate full of fruit and veggies, fourth of it being protein, and then the other side just being like a non-starchy carbohydrate. So those are just some of the things that WIC offers for providing that nutritional information for postpartum moms, and then also making sure that they are taking those prenatal vitamins as well.
And do you all provide prenatal vitamins?
Yes, we do. So we do provide it. We do recommend that moms come in and pick it up. And there also is a really good website online as well. I think it's called Power Me to AZ.
Power Me A to Z. We actually have those at Native Health. So we distribute thousands of bottles of those. We just got a shipment of like 10,000 of those.
Let's do it. Let's hand out more.
Yeah, lots of vitamins. And Dr. Veaco, anything you want to add to that? So in terms of diet, so if they're not on WIC and they're just coming to you, anything you want to add about the diet and or vitamins as well?
I do agree about, having a healthy diet, fruits and vegetables being about half your plate, and having continuing your prenatal vitamin. I think a lot of women think about taking their prenatal vitamins when they're pregnant, and then they'll forget about taking it postpartum. But if they are breastfeeding, they are having lots of nutrition demands, and so continuing that prenatal vitamin is very important. If a mom is ever concerned about a nutritional deficiency, she's worried about her iron, her vitamin D, etc., once again, she can make an appointment with a medical provider, and we can actually test those levels and make sure that she's getting in the appropriate nutrients.
So is there any reason why you wouldn't want to take a prenatal vitamin for a while or a few years? Is there any negative?
Honestly, not really.
Isn't it good for your hair, skin, and nails?
Yes, it's good for a lot of different things. I think the most common thing I hear about prenatals is they can cause some nausea with the iron content in them, and so sometimes women don't like how they sit in their stomach. If that's the case, try switching up the brand. Try having your prenatal vitamin with a meal to see if you tolerate it better.
Okay, some good tips. And so, Rhiannon, do you have any, I know since it's breastfeeding month, does WIC have any activities, education, or special events planned, or does anybody else in town that you know of?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that there will be a Indigenous Milk Medicine Week celebration on August 11th, which is on a Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., which you do need to sign up for online. You can find it on eventbrite.com. There will also be other local agencies within the Intertribal Council of Arizona who are doing events for National Breastfeeding Month as well. And as far as I know, it's just going to be Salt River WIC Department, which they'll be sharing information on breastfeeding and then other health resources at the River Health Center, which is located on the Salt River Reservation on August 15th from 5 to 7 p.m. in their lobby.
At River People?
Yes, River People Health Center. And then here at Native Health, we are a very small team, but I did want to try to kind of do something for our clients and hopefully in the future, make it a bigger event. I'll be doing a breastfeeding Zoom session for our enrolled WIC clients and go over the benefits of breastfeeding, some of the misconceptions, the myths, and going over some of those common challenges of breastfeeding as well. And I hope the moms who join kind of have this opportunity to interact with other moms as well, to share their experience, their advice for those moms who are also currently pregnant. So that's a little bit of what we'll be doing.
And so if somebody's interested in finding out if they qualify for WIC or want to sign up for WIC, if they're pretty sure they qualify, if they're on access, do they just call you all or do they come in? What's the process for signing up for WIC?
Yeah, I recommend giving us a call. Because right now we're only doing our appointments over the phone just because we're a limited staff. So I recommend calling. And then there's also a pre-online application you can do as well. You can find that on the ITCA website. Or if you want, you can come into Native Health too and just go to the front desk and let us ask about it. And one of us will come down to assist.
At our central location, Mesa or Dunlap, or all three are central?
Right now, just at Central. We will be planning to expand, but that's not going to be for another couple of months.
Okay. So anybody can walk into Native Health Central if they're here and they want to know about WIC and just ask, and you'll come down and give them information about signing up or if they qualify.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And Dr. Veaco, so if somebody wants to see you for either breastfeeding or postpartum issues, what would they do? Would they just call the front desk and make an appointment or ask for you? Or what's the best way to do it?
Certainly make an appointment with me. And the appointment can be either under mom or baby, whichever. And let the front desk know that it's going to be more related to a breastfeeding concern so that they can get you on my schedule sooner, because it is more related to time with breastfeeding, right? And then also make sure that we have enough time in our appointment to discuss things and, take a look at baby, take a look at latch, all the things we'll potentially need to do. So just, you can call the Native Health number or stop by one of our clinics and get on my schedule that way. I'm over at the Central Clinic most days of the week, and then I'm over at the West Clinic on Wednesdays.
Okay, Rhiannon, any last minute thoughts? Or anything you forgot to mention?
No, I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, we're super glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
I know this is new for you and a new experience. I know Dr. Veaco's done this a few times, and I appreciate both of your time. I know it's a super important topic, and I know that, right after you have your first child, especially, it can be very daunting and challenging, and everything is overwhelming. It's an emotional time, lots of hormones, and it's like breastfeeding on top of it. I remember feeling so overwhelmed and lonely and like,
Yeah.
But you both have made it sound so much easier, and that there's support and there's help out there, and not to fear it. And there's lots of help, and it's available. You just have to ask.
Yeah. We're excited to see you, hopefully in our clinics and offices.
Yep. So thank you both for coming in, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up on Native Talk Arizona, Kimberly Salas and Amanda Singer will tell us about the Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and August is Breastfeeding Month, highlighting the huge benefits that breastfeeding can bring to both the health and welfare of infants and their parents. To tell us more, I'm talking with Kimberly Salas and Amanda Singer. Hi, Kim and Amanda, and it's an honor to have you on the show today, and I'm looking forward to learning more about Breastfeeding Month.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Okay.
Welcome.
Okay.
So let's start things off with an introduction of both of you. Kim, please tell us a little bit about your nonprofit and the work you do.
My name is Kimberly Salas. I was born in Tuba City on the Navajo Nation. Tribal Indemnity is actually a Native-owned for-profit, meaning not tax-exempt consultancy, launched in 2016. What we do is we managed members like myself and my husband since 2017. We have selectively contracted with several Native professionals between Arizona and New Mexico within our services, along with supporting like business ambitions. But as for me, as an IBSLC, which is I'm a board certified lactation consultant, I provide clinical and consultant services for supporting families in lactation or breastfeeding, chest feeding. But I also operate under tribal indemnity just to mitigate personal and professional liability. But for over 8 years, TI is one of our pathways towards self-determination, entrepreneurship, advocacy, and just Native national building. I'm also a full-spectrum doula, do a lot of consulting work throughout Turtle Island and here in Arizona.
You are busy. All right.
Yes, we're very busy.
And I can't wait to hear more. Amanda, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your program that you represent as well?
Yeah, to everyone, I'm Amanda Singer. My clans are Manashteja Tachitnin Shanto, Honawatni Bashichin, as a son of Dashanella Dototani Dashiche, Aid Alsanansha. And I actually reside and work out of Fort Defiance, Arizona. I'm originally from Coal Mine, New Mexico, and I am the executive director for the Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition. But we are actually working on transitioning our names. So all of 2024, we're using both names to get people acquainted with our newer name. And our new name is going to be Navajo Birth Worker Collective. I'm also a Dene full spectrum doula, as well as a Indigenous lactation counselor and a certified lactation counselor. So that is who I am. And the Navajo Birth Worker Collective, formerly known as the Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition, we began our support and advocacy work back in 2008. And we provide, again, like policy support and then advocacy work, and then as well as later on, I would say more like 2015, 2016, we added direct support work through lactation support. And then 2019 to the present time, we expanded our services to also include doula support and doula work. We do work with a cultural, I guess you can say a cultural lens. And then we also provide education on Navajo cultural, pregnancy education, birth education, postpartum education, and lactation education. So we do provide those, and we do offer presentations to the community and community organizations who would like more information regarding, our work and our support to the community. And we have only a few doulas on the Navajo Nation right now through the New Mexico Workforce Expansion Program. We're actually trying to really work on expanding the doula and birth support and lactation provider workforce on the New Mexico side. But a lot of the funders and organizations in New Mexico also are very inclusive of the Navajo Nation communities that border New Mexico. So some of those areas are also included in that. So we're really working on building that workforce for New Mexico, and then also in hopes that it'll have positive health benefits for our Navajo families, but also we're really hoping that this will help decrease a lot of the maternal mortality that we're seeing within the Navajo Nation.
Wow, you're also busy, both of you, and doing a lot of really important work and a lot of bonding for the families and encouraging these families off to a healthy start. So, Kim, what exactly do you do in Arizona? I know that you do a lot of different things in the Valley and up at Navajo.
I work currently as an independent contractor through various projects and nonprofits, such as Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition. I'm also the co-instructor for the Indigenous Lactation Counselor Training Program. It is a training, a 5-day, 45-hour course that provides lactation education and certification to Native people so that they provide clinical breastfeeding support in their communities. Again, this course is Native designed, so it's Native taught and specifically for those that identify as Indigenous. It is a unique infrastructure that we can provide members from the community to be Indigenous lactation counselors, such as Amanda, and that's what she mentioned that she does with her work. And this just allows them to serve their communities And, cultural care is really important to us, and that breastfeeding is a traditional practice. And I think I mentioned also that I'm a member of the Indigenous Milk Medicine Collective, again, which we host the week of August 8th to the 14th, and collaborated with Amanda with Breastfeeding Coalition with the Lactation program, which we're really excited about. We have 5 mentees. Amanda Singer is one of them. To become a lactation consultant, there's various pathways that they have to obtain. So what we're doing is we are finding clinical sites in Arizona and Navajo, so that we have space for students to go and not only serve community, but like Navajo, serve their nation, to be lactation providers for that cultural care. And that we know that if we serve our people, representation does matter. So we tend to have more trust in the system, more care, and that we can follow up. And that's that we really want to diversify in lactation. Should someone want to be a lactation consultant, we are collaborating together and obtaining other partners to do this work with us. So we're really looking forward to that. And we've had some funding, and we are seeking more funding to really push this work out in our community. So we're really excited about it.
So, Kim, I know August is Breastfeeding Month. Are you planning through any of the groups that you're with, any special activities or anything highlighting breastfeeding?
Yes, absolutely. So we do celebrate Indigenous Milk Medicine Week, which I'm a part of the collective that hosts this event every year. So Indigenous Milk Medicine Week is August 8th through the 14th. This year our theme is Mind, Body, and Milk Medicine, which is an annual virtual week-long celebration, which we promote wellness, tradition, cultural, and education through daily sunrises, ceremonies, speaker presentations. We have support circles. And so this year, we're definitely doing something a little different. We're announcing our 6th celebration for Indigenous Milk Medicine Week, happening again next month. This is a virtual conference offering a unique opportunity for participants to earn continuing education or CERPs, where we can obtain this knowledge throughout the week. Again, we'll delve into the virtual connection between well-being, mental health, and milk medicine. And then again, it's a free conference, so sessions will be from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Our annual 5K movement and wellness sessions on the weekends. And then I'm also collaborating with Amanda Singer with Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition and several partners in our community on August 11th. The celebration will be theming around mind, body, and milk medicine. Again, on August 11th, it's a free event, so we encourage pregnant moms, parents, any lactating families, that breastfed before, even now. We like to say breastfeeding or chest feeding to be inclusive of our two-spirit relatives, to celebrate, just to be in community, sharing stories. And we have some tabling with the ASC Lactation Program, Genesis Program through Gila River. And then we have actually Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition will be there. And if Amanda wants to share that, I'm really excited to know what we're also doing in collaboration with this event.
So Amanda,
you want to share?
Yeah. What are you planning for Breastfeeding Month and for the event?
Okay, well, that is basically one of them. The August event that we're going to be doing in correlation with Tribal Indemnity, 4th Trimester Arizona, and Sadketelia. There's another program that I can't think of the name right off the bat, but they are also going to be sponsoring this event. And that's probably like one of the main highlights for us. And then we do, the coalition actually is planning a virtual series throughout the month of August, which will consist of individuals who are going to give presentations around anything around like lactation, support, breastfeeding, advice, and things like that. So right now we're just I'm working on getting the dates confirmed. So everyone has an idea of when to look forward to for these virtual spaces that we're going to be providing. And but last year and the year before, we had a little bit more funding to do a little bit more in-person events. We've had like health fairs and fun walks in different areas of the community, and I believe in the Phoenix area, we did have a lactation support circle that took place. I think it was like around August. So there was a lot of other things that we've been known to do, but this year we don't have like the amount of funding that we need to normally do what we've done in the past. But we will have several members tabling at different health fairs. So we are getting invited to like Winslow Indian Healthcare Center, for example. They'll be hosting a health fair, and then one of our representatives, Diley Lister, will be set up there. And I will be also tabling with the Navajo WIC program, the Fort Defiance Clinic. They're going to be doing something in correlation to Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And I believe we're going to try to get set up also at the Gallup's Arts Crawl in Gallup, New Mexico. That's something that we've been doing pretty much every year for the last 3 years, or actually the last 2 years, where we would set up at the Arts Crawls and just let them know of who we are, give them information about our support efforts and some of our past work. And of course, we have incentives to give to them. So yeah, we pretty much want to do still be present in the community. But one of our bigger events in August is the one that's going to be taking place in Phoenix.
No, I was just going to just expand on the event that it's through the fourth trimester of Arizona. So Amanda and I co-host a Indigenous Parent Support Village every month, which is the second Wednesday, and we share space with parents, just talk about different issues with just being, a Native family, a parent in Arizona. And so we've had some national people pop in just to listen, get support. So we're again partnering with just other various organizations to just hold space. And again, it's August 11th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Still Indian School Community Center, which is at 300 East Indian School Road. And we again ask for pregnant, lactating parents that have experience in human milk through pumping, milk sharing, chest feeding, non-gestational parents, and two-spirit relatives are welcome.
Okay, and you said, so it's Saturday, August 11th at the Phoenix Indian School Visitor Center, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if people are interested in learning more about being a lactation consultant or breastfeeding in general, what's the best way to contact you, or should they be attending the event on August 11th, or both?
Actually, both. Amanda will also be there with me. We can talk more about how we can support this work for people individually, or have more questions about what that work looks like with lactation consulting, lactation specialists, or doula. They can attend the event, or they can go to Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition Facebook page and send a message there, or they can contact me through Tribal Indemnity, which if they go on the website, it can link me to my page on LinkedIn and get a hold of me there, and we can connect and we can see what works for them for what work they want to do.
You all have done such amazing work, and I know we're almost out of time, but I do want to circle back. So the event that you've got, Kim, is on Sunday, August 11th. I think you said 11 to 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it's at the Phoenix Indian School Visitor Center at 300 East Indian School. I do know there's plenty of parking over there and ample free parking. And you said who is able to attend. Do they need to RSVP or email you, or just show up?
It would be good for them to register. So on the flyer, they can find it at Fourth Trimester Arizona on Facebook. And I know Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition also circulated the flyer as well. I also shared it on my page. and they can scan the code, or they can go to fourth trimester and go to Eventbrite and register there. Just for we have goodie bags, and for food purposes, we want to make sure we have enough food.
Okay, and it's fourth as in the number 4. Is it 4TH or FOURTH?
The number 4TH, fourth trimester, Arizona.
Okay, cool. I thank you both so much for coming on. I know it's going to be a great event. We will also be posting this on Native Health Phoenix Facebook page as well. And I know we're going to be there. We're looking forward to it. You all do such amazing, important work and keep those babies and moms healthy. So thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, supported by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Audio editing by Javier Quiroga, and the executive producer is Susan Levy. And I'm host Lanasha Puari. We hope you tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please email us at nativetalkaz@radiophoenix.org.